All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Nicole Whitlock. I'm with eCom Sellers. This is the liquidation workshop. So, as I said before, my name is Nicole Whitlock. I am with eCom Sellers. I am the creator of eCom Sellers. I'm also the creator of Achieve Digital Marketing. So, I run multiple businesses. In addition to that, I'm a single mom. I have two teens. One of them may actually come in the middle of this. I won't have much control over that. Just depends. So I'm also the vice president of a nonprofit that specializes in supporting families with special needs children and adults. And I've been doing that since 2014, I believe, for a little while. I've been selling online as well since 2014, and I've been selling offline since 2008. I actually got into e-commerce because I needed a way to make money to cover my kids' expenses, their therapies, their special diets, their supplements, and all of that. My passion is helping people on this e-commerce journey be profitable, first of all, and to also get organized, get focused, and get consistent in their business. One of the things that I do is I also work with families that have special needs kids to be able to use Q4 as their window of opportunity to raise money to cover their summer programs for next year or their deductibles for next year. So e-commerce has sort of been good to me, and I'm grateful for that. So with that, we are talking about liquidations today. So I have no idea why that slide is there. But anyway, so what is liquidated inventory? So that's inventory that companies may have. That's probably either excess inventory that they have, inventory that's out of date, out of style, no longer in demand, people don't want it anymore, inventory that they need to sell off to generate some cash. And you will hear about companies offering liquidated or saying they're going to liquidate or having a liquidation sale because of bankruptcies. Most notable right now, I feel like the one that's in the news the most that I hear about all the time is Big Lots. A few months ago, or more than a few months ago, the 99-cent store was going out of business. They were hoping to get bought, but they didn't get bought. So then they ended up selling all of their inventory, but they did have some liquidation sales. They have big centers, distribution centers throughout the United States. And so that was a huge loss. I'm still not really sure who acquired all of them. I think they got pieced off, sold off in pieces, and some parts in California, they still have some of the 99-cent stores. So that's one of my favorite places to go. You may also see some inventory that's liquidated inventory that may have expired. And so companies are either needing to free up some space, generate some cash, or they may be in financial trouble. And so that's why inventory may show up in the liquidation space. Now, it could also include returns. One of the big liquidation space, well, a couple of liquidators get inventory from Amazon returns, Walmart returns, Costco and Sam's Club and Target returns. Walmart is really bad at this. They will, if you return anything from Walmart, they pretty much send it out to the liquidation space. In other words, they send it out and the liquidation space gets it and people will buy Walmart returns. So it could be that as well. It's not listed here, but that is one of them that actually happens is returns. Returns of inventory have now gone into the liquidation space, or they've been in the liquidation space. So what's the benefit of buying liquidations? Well, they do cost less than wholesale. That is a plus. So you can get inventory for much less than you could wholesale. You could find some reliable sources. Not all liquidation suppliers are the most consistent and or reliable. So you do have to do a little bit of research. You can buy in bulk at a low cost. You will hear about liquidation pallets, and you can buy a liquidation box. They'll tell you what's on the manifest, what's supposed to be in the box or what's supposed to be in the pallet. Sometimes the information that they provide so that you can sort of bid on it is not detailed enough. And so when you get it, you go, oh, that's what this is. So I'll give you an example. So it may just say blender, but you don't know what kind of blender is in there. It may say it has 5 blenders in there and you don't know what kind of blender. You have no idea what kind of conditions sometimes the blenders are in. You don't know what name brand, if it's an outdated brand or if it's something that's current. So Again, you don't know sometimes what you might be getting, but you can get it at a super low price. They may sell a box or a pallet for $500 or $1,000 for a pallet, and it may say that they have 500 pieces in it. Well, sometimes 500 pieces is they got a bag full of beads in there. 500 beads in it. But anyway, that's a horrible example, but it could happen. That's why you want to always ask questions of your liquidators. And you also want to see what kind of rating they have online. It's cheaper than manufacturing your own products, which is absolutely true. And if you go with a liquidator that you're going to continually buy inventory from, or you're going to source from, you could at some later point, like say, okay, these are the types of things I'm always interested in. So when it comes in, if you build a relationship and a rapport with them, when it comes in, let me know, and I will probably buy it off of you if you have that kind of cash or capital. Okay. It is less cumbersome than white labeling a product or private labeling a product. And you can use online sites to sort of bid, which is what I was talking about before, sort of mentioning it without talking through it. And that is the pallets or the boxes. Like there will be a manifest in online sites in most cases on the liquidation sites. And sometimes they'll have an auction side where you can just buy it directly, or you can auction and see if you can get it at a lower price. So you can bid on it to get it at a lower price. Okay. So what are the types of inventory that you could get if you acquire liquidated inventory? Well, it could be new. It could be marked as new. It could be in the original box. I use the example of Walmart. Walmart is the most wasteful spending company I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. But a significant number of the returns that Walmart has goes over to liquidation. It could be brand new. I recently bought, I can't even remember what it was. It was like maybe some rings for a shower ring, the things that go on the rod. And they were still in the box because I didn't know maybe the kit that I bought already had rings in it. So I bought some standalone. I just took them back, still in the package, still brand new, unopened. And so that's an example of a product that is it's still new in the box. You could have companies that, have overstock inventory or outdated inventory. And so again, you can find a lot of inventory that's still new, brand new in the box. You have like new. Again, going back to Walmart returns, there's a lot of stuff that is like new. Maybe they opened it, looked at it. Nope, that's not what I want. It's wrong color, whatever, wrong size. I'm just returning it. Okay. So you could have like new stuff that could, again, encompass inventory that's overstock or dead stock for a company, and or inventory that's, okay, we've got to raise some capital, so maybe we'll take all our displays down. They're all still like new. Refurbished inventory, you will see that there are companies that liquidators may send it over to a refurb company to fix something. So an example might be laptops. That's a perfect one where liquidators will contract with a computer company to fix the computers, test them, make sure they're working. And then maybe you will buy, a box of laptops and you can resell those laptops. They will all be refurbs. And if you do that kind of stuff, just make sure you know what the warranties are on those. Sometimes the warranties are decent and sometimes they're not. Meaning when you sell it, it won't go back. It will come back to you. But if you want it to get fixed, or they want it to get fixed, they will have to go through the liquidators, computer fixing company that they hired, if that is part of the purchase. If that's what you purchased, if they say this is how we handle returns, or no, we don't take any returns. If they don't take any returns, you may not want to take any returns. I always encourage people, like, if you buy an electronic that is refurbished, make sure you go and get there's different types of insurance that you can buy now, so that if the electronic is broken or doesn't work or something weird, that you can send it off and have them fix it, and then you get it back. But again, if it's an outdated laptop or something like that, then the parts for it may cost more than the actual laptop is worth. I've had that happen before. Returns. I've talked a lot about returns, And so stores can have returns and there will be all types of random stuff. I will tell you, this is the biggest return window. We're in Q4 right now at the time of this recording. So this is the biggest return window. This is when people will return things for all kinds of reasons. So there will be a lot of inventory that will show up in the liquidation space, especially in January and February. Okay. And that can set you up for the entire year, depending on what you decide to do. Shelf pulls, again, stuff that may be out of date, old, and it could still be brand new shelf pulls. So at the end of like a holiday or whatever, there are times where, because companies have already placed their orders, so I'm going to give you a great example. Dollar Tree, they will place their orders for Christmas, like they've already sent out for their orders for Christmas of 2025. Okay, the buyers, same thing with Walmart. They already know what type of inventory they're getting for next year. There will be some stuff that slides in there that, they just happen across in the last, 8, 9, 10 months, or just before the holiday hits next year. But for the most part, they already know what they're going to do 18 to 24 months in advance. So they've already placed their orders with their manufacturers and distributors. So in that example, they may say, you know what? We are not going to sell any more. I'll use Shopkins as an example, because somebody reached out to me today about Shopkins. And so I have Shopkins, but you haven't heard a lot about Shopkins. You heard about them maybe about 4 or 5, 6 years ago, but not now. And so they may say, you know what, we're not going to do anything else with Shopkins. We're just going to pull it and we're just going to, we're going to send it off to liquidation. Not going to do anything with it. So that's an example of a shelf pull where it's just something that's never going to, they don't plan on investing any more time and energy or shelf space into that particular item. You may also get shelf pulls from the end of the holiday where there's like, okay, we're going to sell things at 60 or 70 or 80% off. And Walgreens does this all the time where stuff goes to 70 and 80% off, which is crazy. And that's because they don't have a lot of storage space in their stores, meaning the shelf space is limited at a Walgreens or a CVS. So in that example, they'll just pull all of it and just wait for brand new inventory to come in the next year. So whatever they don't sell in liquidation, they'll box it up. Whatever they don't sell when they lower the price to 70% off or 80% off or whatever, they just box it up. And then when they box it up, they send it to a liquidator, or they send it to whoever, and then they send it to a liquidator, and they'll just sell whatever was in the store, because Walgreens getting all brand new stuff next year. So they don't want any of the inventory they had in the prior years. Dollar Tree does the same thing. They will sell the same thing year over year for about 2 or 3 years. And then they'll be like, nope, we're not doing any more of this. We're going to send it off to the liquidator. So again, end of year or end of holiday, you'll see sometimes that the inventory that was in the clearance for end of holiday makes its way over to a liquidator, because they don't want to sell that anymore. Scratch and dent, that's pretty self-explanatory. Great examples of that are the big things like your refrigerators and your stoves. There are whole stores that are just focused on, I just recently got a washer. They're just focused on appliances, refrigerators and stoves and washers and dryers. And they take the ones that have scratch and dent. And it's a business. It's a full-on brick and mortar, that's all they take. And that's a great business to be in. Salvage, where they're selling things for parts. You might see that sometimes with laptops, where they may just want to take out, the keyboard or the motherboard or the screen or whatever and sell it in pieces and parts. So they may buy it, or you can get it. You can get pieces of things and resell it that way. And then used, again, people will return stuff. There'll be used items. And if it has no, sign of wear and tear, that's another one that they may go with. Okay. So the pros and cons of liquidations. Well, low cost to get your inventory, higher profit margins for sure. You can get a variety of different products once you find a supplier that you want to work with. You can niche down to a specific area. And I use the example of the scratch and dent kind of stuff, where there are whole brick and mortar stores that just focuses 100% on the stove and the refrigerator and the microwave and the washer and dryer. That's all they do. So they're hunting for that liquidation inventory. They're taking that inventory and they're reselling it. Cons, you do have to invest some money. Sometimes the money is a little bit of money, and sometimes the money is a little bit more money. You do have some inconsistency in the quality of the products, or some of it may be damaged, and you need to be prepared to deal with that. If you get, let's say, a pallet, or you get some inventory and you're like, okay, so 20% of this is damaged, or 75%. If it's not listed on the manifest, again, some liquidators are unscrupulous, and so you might get some bad stuff. And others that have been in business for a while, they know how to check and look and make sure, and they will tell you on the manifest, yeah, this is, we didn't check it to see if it's working, or yes, it is working, it's still in the box. Okay, and that means that that particular product may still have a good warranty on it. Like if we were talking about the blender at the very beginning. You get an unpredictable mix. You may find blenders in with socks, and you may find hammers in with kitchen towels. Like, you may get some different mixes of stuff. And you may have to inspect or clean some stuff depending on, it's been on a shelf for a long time. There may be some storage challenges that you may have to deal with. And so you'll see, I've glossed over business startup potential, but I'm going to use, I've already talked about the stoves and the refrigerators and washers and dryers, but you also see Amazon, resale shops pop up. It's because people are getting Amazon returns. They're opening up a resale shop. And so they have products that they sell, and they lower the price every day. So they may use Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to, spread out inventory, check in inventory, whatever. Thursdays, you may get it for $5 or $10. And then Fridays, you may get it for $5. And Saturday, you may be able to get it for $3. And then Sunday, you may get it for $1. And so they just literally just churn through inventory. The goal is for them just to make all their money back that they paid to acquire that inventory and to list it in that brick and mortar, to pay for the employees that are working in the store, and to pay for the lighting and, the electricity and the lease space, all of that. So with that, again, you may have to look at inventory that comes in that has to be inspected. It may need to be cleaned, and this will solve your storage challenges. So the business startup potential is big. Again, I don't know how many we have I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I think we have 4 of them. They're not just Amazon resale shops. They have different names. People call them different things. Bin stores, trying to think of the other different names that they use. But in any case, they're all individually owned. And so if you're a person, you have some capital, and you're willing to invest in inventory, that may be a thing. If you've got space, maybe you've got a building that's near you that hasn't been used, they're trying to rent it out, and it's a retail space, or it used to be a retail space, and it's just vacant or empty. Being able to acquire that inventory and turn it into your own form of a bin store may be worth it. Or deciding you're going to go after the bigger items. Like I said before, there's furniture stores. That's all they do. They take the stuff that's slightly damaged and they sell it. They resell it for high profits. So another con is legal considerations. Some of the things you may be selling may not have warranties on it anymore. Some of the stuff you may be selling, there may be other things that you have to consider. So do a little bit of research. If you're getting a truck, a pallet, or a box of inventory that's got electronics in it, or anything that requires a warranty, like something with watches or whatever, TVs, so that you understand what your rights are as a buyer of that inventory that you're reselling. you understand what your limitations are. Because again, if you're buying refurb, typically the liquidator will tell you this is a refurb, and they will tell you who did the work on it to verify that these things work and blah, blah, blah. And they'll tell you what the warranty is for it, or they say that there is no warranty for it. They will give you some information depending on which liquidators you work with. And then reselling those products. There may or may not be any restrictions that you have to deal with. So this time of year, having a brick and mortar, even if it's a small brick and mortar, like the size of a convenience store or something, to be able to sell this inventory, so you don't have to store it anywhere near you, a place you can go into, sort through it, and, open the doors, let people come in and buy it. You have to have an employee that you hire. Some people hire multiple employees. Some people just run it themselves. They only work certain days a week. They put the inventory out. There's a lady that I really, really like that's on YouTube. And so she goes through and she sorts and pulls all the good stuff that she's going to sell on other platforms like Facebook Marketplace, or she'll sell it on eBay. And then the other stuff she just leaves in her store for people to come in and buy from her. So you can turn it into a full-fledged business that keeps the lights on and keeps water running out of your faucet, keeps the roof over your head for your family, if you want to do that. And, or you can just sell individual pieces. You can decide. So what do you need to do to get started? So reselling, liquidation. Well, you need to secure you need capital. You need a little bit of money. It may not be a lot. You can buy a small box of liquidated inventory. Okay, you don't have to spend oodles and oodles of dollars, or you could go big if you have the money available to you. You need to find a reliable supplier that you feel like will go through the inventory and double check it. Now, here's the deal. Some of these liquidators, the inventory has gone through 2 or 3 liquidators before it makes its way to you, or 4 liquidators before it makes its way to you. So whoever you buy it from may not be the original person who got it. Sometimes things get recycled throughout the liquidation space. And sometimes, again, the person may get it 3rd hand, 4th hand, 5th hand. So the original person that was liquidating it, like they may have gotten one heck of a deal. They resell it. So again, just another way of doing business. And then they resell it. And now you're getting your hands on it for the first time. You may have to inspect anything that you acquire. So you just need to be prepared to deal with that. Check it, make sure it's good. And then decide where you want to sell your stuff, or how. Maybe you're not going to sell it online. Maybe you're going to open up your own version of a bin store. Again, if you have the money and the time to be able to do that, it's another way to make some money. It does require work. It is physical work, but it may be worth it for you. And if you're going to list it on different platforms, you want to just monitor what your results are. So is selling liquidation inventory right for you? Might be. I don't know. You can sell most anything you acquire. Just, again, know what you have or understand what you potentially have. The manifest sometimes is not 100% clear and is not 100% accurate. So you just need to remember that. You do need to do some research and just understand, as far as platforms where you can sell it, what the additional requirements or limitations are. There are some platforms that will not let you sell liquidated inventory, okay? Or will have limitations on what liquidated inventory can be sold, okay? Well, how many hours? You could make this a full-time gig, or you could just do a few hours. You can order a pallet on every weekend. If you have a place that's near you that has inventory that you can just drive up, there's wholesale suppliers that will sometimes have liquidated inventory. I mean, it's very common for wholesale suppliers to actually have both liquidated inventory and just wholesale inventory. So, if you are in a big metroplex like I am, you can gain access to liquidated inventory. You can pull up with your truck. They like that. You just pull up. They can load that pallet up and you can take it home and dissect it, open it up, look at what's in there, see what you got your hands on so that you can decide what you're going to do. How much do you have to invest? It could be very little or it could be a lot. You're going to pay for the inventory. You may pay for some software to keep track of your inventory. You may pay for a VA or staff. You may also have platform fees. So it can vary. on what you're going to spend. So you do need to have some capital to be able to get started. But how much can you make? You can make a lot of money. These people who do this bin store thing are not doing it because they don't make money. They make money doing this. They make a lot of money running bin stores. It becomes a full-time gig for them. And so they make a lot of money just getting inventory and selling it back out into the space. And there are times where they don't have to do a lot of marketing or advertising. When a bin store shows up in a community or neighborhood, I mean, word of mouth gets out pretty quick. It does. It's crazy how word of mouth gets out. So yeah. So what kind of skills do you need to have? You need to be organized. I mean, organization skills are the biggest part of this because you're always moving inventory in and out. You're always checking inventory in, or you're reviewing inventory or checking inventory to see what is that inventory selling for on another platform, or what's the price point for it? What's this, what's that? So you're always doing some level of research. You need to know what inventory you have. You need to be able to catalog it. When it sells, you need to be able to pick it off the shelf and package it up and ship it. Or if you're going to open up a bin store, again, you got to have a process. You're going to have more stuff that you have to do. But again, it may be worth it. So you're going to be doing research, you're going to be analyzing stuff, and you need to be patient through this process, because there's going to be some inventory that maybe you acquired some liquidated inventory in January of the following year. You still have a couple of pieces. You're like, oh, this thing is never going to sell. So anyway, pros and cons. As I said before, high profit margins, low cost to get the inventory, and there's a startup opportunity for those of you that want to go big. Cons, you do have to spend some capital. You don't have any control over the quality of some of the stuff you get. You do need to inspect it, and we can go through the list. There's a lot of things that I mentioned before. All of those still apply. So I did want you to know that we are hosting a liquidation deep dive workshop. It's a 2-hour workshop, and it is coming up on December the 19th. It's at 6 p.m. It is $37. So if you want to take a deep dive, you think 2025, you want to get into the liquidation space, or you want to, rent out space in a building and actually start this liquidation thing and get a bin store going. We're going to talk through what you need. Where do you get inventory from? Who are the suppliers? What are the types of questions you need to ask? What are the types of things you need to look at? This is what we're going to be going through in this workshop. So with that, you're going to get a one-on-one coaching session with me. So if you're interested in signing up for the liquidation workshop, you can go to liquidation.ecomsellers.com/WS. That stands for workshop. Again, liquidation.ecomsellers.com/WS. And again, it's December the 19th at 6 p.m. You can register. It's a 2-hour workshop. So we would love, love, love to have you. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions. So let me stop the recording and stop presenting.